This month for our monthly modern, I played a Valakut deck. Not just any Valakut deck, but a Bring to Light Valakut deck, and I decided to run 70 cards. So kind of a wacky homebrew, and I thought I would just go over like a light deck tech. So we've got our removal. We're a 5-color soup mana base, so we've got Leyline Binding, and then the 5th Leyline Binding is a Lightning Bolt. Then our ramp package, we're just playing 4 Farseek, which has honestly been great at just setting up like the I can cast everything setup. And then we've got Planar Genesis, which is a really good version of Growth Spiral, and we're playing Growth Spiral as basically the 5th Planar Genesis. So a lot of times with Planar Genesis, if I'm just hitting my land drops, just the impulse effect of grabbing a really good card, but sometimes the ramp is there. Really a kind of an all-star in this deck. Then after the ramp and the spot removal, we got the counter magic. Teferi is just kind of to beat counter magic against my card, because I'm really just trying to resolve a big spell towards the end and win the game. And then we've got Spell Snare. It's pretty good in the format right now, especially with Breach being like the 2-beat deck. But a lot of cards I don't like to see, like Counterspell, or even just aggressive cards like a Johnny. Spell Snare and Psychic Frog. Spell Snare is good in the format right now. And then we're playing some Mana Leak. In theory, you could play something like No More Lies or whatever, but we do draw the Valakut sometimes. And the colorless mana symbol actually matters a lot. And Mana Leak still nabs pretty much everything in the turns leading to your setup, because you really are just trying to stay alive as you make your land drops to just hit that 7th turn and close the game. Then we got some Force and Negation, which is just pretty pivotal. One, it's still something you can hard cast while you're casting scapeshift at the same time. And then 2, you have a lot of these like kind of tap out turns. And so this kind of just keeps you a little bit safe on the back end. And then even though it's not a Bring to Light target, Wrath Disguise is best sweeper in the format right now. So we play a couple of those. And then similar to Wrath Disguise, we got a Culling Ritual, except we can Bring to Light for that one. And then we've got a Supreme Verdict, which can't be countered. It's cool. But also just a good sweeper that we can tutor up. So we have a lot of copies of sweepers in our deck. A couple other bullets that the Bring to Light hit, Slaughter Games. This was actually pretty good for me. I only went 2-1. I lost to a Dredge in my second round. But I did play against a Breach deck, and this card was good. Then we've got an Endurance. It's kind of just, I just had a handful of extra slots to like figure out, and this is like the best graveyard hate card I could think of that I could Bring to Light for. And it like just seemed playable on like a lot of levels. So, and it's also just a decent aggro body, 3/4 flat, to fight aggro. Play that game. And then we got an Elish Norn. Stops Grinding Station from untapping. Stops Primeval Titan. Stops Solitude. Stops Subtlety, doesn't really matter, but it stops a Johnny token entering. Stops a lot of random stuff. Stops your opponent's Leyline Bindings. Doubles your Leyline Bindings. And if they're over 20 life, Valakut plus 6 mountains with Elish Norn on table is 36 damage instead of 18. And that can be relevant at times. We're playing a couple of Scapeshift because one can, get Thought Seized or Counterspelled. We don't have great ways to get these back. But you also don't super want to draw this card. Usually you just got to make sure the first one punches through, and then they're dead. So if you lose your first one, you need more like Teferi or something to try and set up, make sure your second one's going to make it, because you don't have a third one. Then we got 3 Bring to Light. You could think, why would I not play 4 of this card? I'm a bigger deck. I'm 70 cards, so the mainstay redundancy of Bring to Light, like I always want to have this, and it's good. But we actually sort of have 6 Bring to Lights in our deck. We're playing some Glittering Wish. Why is Glittering Wish better than regular Wish? For a couple reasons. One, it's 1 mana cheaper, which is honestly huge. But the other reason is I don't have to have 3+ mana. I can see a matchup, slam a Glittering Wish on turn 2, grab something I really need, like a Teferi, or if Wrenn and 6 is going to be a problem, I can grab Wrenn and 6, or I can put a Wear Tear in my hand and just be ready for whatever I need to hit. And so Glittering Wish has been pretty sweet. So now we'll get into the sideboard. We've got 8 bullets that we can Glittering Wish for. We got an Unmoored Ego. This is really good at just combo decks, just nabbing their thing they kill you with and not dying to that, so that's pretty cool. For these like Mox Opal matchups or Urza Saga matchups, we got a Pest Control we can grab, so that's pretty cool. We've got a Wear Tear. It's pretty self-explanatory, answers for stuff like that. We've got a other Supreme Verdict we can get from the board. Just grab an Uncounterable Sweeper, so that's pretty good. We got Teferi we can grab from the board to fight those kind of counterspell matchups. A little bit of life gain, but also just kind of a backup alternate threat. We got a Flage we can grab. Card's pretty good. We've got Wrenn and 6 we can grab. Because we're a big Valakut deck and we're running like a huge land count, we're playing 8 fetch lands, which isn't like a huge number of fetch lands, especially for a 70 card deck. So it's like, grab this guy when I want him. I don't necessarily always want him, because if you're not returning lands with this guy, like Creativity plays like 10 to 12 fetch lands in a 60 card deck, and he's really good there. In my deck, not so good, because I want to have an actual high count of lands that say land types and not just fetch lands everywhere. And then we've got our 4th Bring to the Light. So a lot of times at 7 mana, it's like wish for Bring to Light, scapeshift, kill you. All right, now we'll go over the we've got a 3rd Force of Negation. And then our other piece of counter magic, because I imagine the Tron matchup can be kind of difficult, is Consign to Memory. One of my games, because I played Tron in the last match, he played a Chalice on 1, and I got into a situation where, because of the Replicate on this, it still resolves, but he was at 20 still, and I cast a Lightning Bolt to target him down to 17, and then like Chalice trigger on the stack, and then play this and replicate it to counter the counterspell on my Lightning Bolt, and then like untapped and scapeshift kill him, which was kind of fun. Strange corner case. And we got some more artifact enchantment answers. Force of Vigor is a really good card. I feel like it's a little underplayed right now. And then I don't really use my graveyard except for the 1 Flage in my sideboard. So this is the best graveyard hate card you can play. Just has the most impact when it enters, and then it's the most they have to take it off the table. So to me, this is the graveyard hate piece to be playing, even though I can't tutor for it. And the games I did have it and play it, it was good. I died to Dredge really fast. He played a Frog on turn 2, and then like towards the end of turn 2, when I didn't have like an answer to that, he basically discarded almost his whole hand, dredged, and then like Colosseum'd, and it was like I got chilled 3 times and attacked with a 6-power Frog, and then he's got a bunch of stuff on the board. It was rough. It was rough. Now for the lands, almost none of our spells are actually red. We don't even really like the mountains. We are playing 2 Valakut. And mostly because at 8 lands, 2 Valakut, 6 mountains, 36 damage, and that'll kill everybody, pretty much. That'll kill pretty much everybody. So that is why, and you could lose one to like mill or destruction or whatever else. And that is partly why I decided to have 1 endurance in the main. Got 2 other utility lands, Boseiju and Odawara. Boseiju was really good in my games. Odawara, that window never came up, but they're lands. These notably are like the 2 lands that can't cast Flage in my deck. Besides, I have a basic forest. Pretty much every other land is Flage friendly. We got our fetch lands. We got all the lands can like splash into mountain because I've got a lot of mountain stuff, for the Valakuts. So Arid Mesa can hit every color. I've got Stomping Ground, Sacred Foundry, Steam Vents, and a Blood Crypt for when I got grab a color in a hurry. I play 4 of the red-white one because I have 2 of the basic planes. Try and hit that Wrath the Skies without taking too much damage to get there. Then we got some Wooded Foothills. Same kind of logic. We got Basic Forest. We play 1 less of this one. And then I'm playing 1 Windswept Teeth, which does miss Steam Vent's Blood Crypt. But I also have more basic plains and forests, and those are the things I need to draw in like a Blood Moon matchup. So I decided to shave 1 Foothills and play 1 Windswept Teeth. And then basically all of my duels follow, well, not all, but most of them follow the logic of my color game plan is either red, white, or blue, green. And so all of my lands are either red, blue, like some setup of red, blue, and green, white. And that just helps me easily cast all my spells. So a lot of thought went into the mana base, and the mana base worked out really well. So we've seen the fetch lands. Now we'll go over like actual duels I played. Here are my Izzet color triomes. We got a Grixis one, a Temur one, and a Jeskai one. And then we've got blue-red Shockland, Surveil land. Being able to Farseek and then Surveil 1 after the Farseek was sweet. Like, consistently awesome. And then we got our green-white setup. And as much as these aren't mountains, I'm pretty much never natural Valakuting unless the game goes really sideways or way long. So I don't, other than the fact that I need a high mountain density so that I have enough left in the deck when I try and resolve it, I don't really care about having non-mountains in play because I'm really just trying to resolve that scapeshift to win. So these are my green-white duels. And then I do have other ones that are just in the mountain sphere. Stomping Ground's kind of an anomaly to play more of that, but green's like such an important opening color. So we got a couple Stomping Ground, Commercial District. We got Sacred Foundry, Elegant Parlor. We got a Blood Crypt, just the findable, untappable black off of a fetch land. Really just trying to slaughter game somebody on turn 3 or something. And then we've got our basics, plains, mountain, forest. And that's all 70 cards. That's my deck. I went 2-1 versus Temur Breach. These games were close. I slammed the Rest in Peace game 3, and it just took him way too long to find an answer. Game 1, he had a good start, and just I had some interaction, but he basically had 2 breaches ready to go, and it was like, all right, stop the first one. And then it was like, and he like his Urza Saga resolved, and he grabbed a Haywire Might, so I couldn't like grab a binding to get myself out of it. Like I had a binding, but it just wasn't gonna work. And between like Rumble mana and stuff, like he just had a lot going for him. And then game 2, I resolved the Slaughter Games, and that was kind of back and forth where I almost died to Construct tokens. And I played Escape Shift, and he swan-songed it, and he was like building his board back up. And then I just top decked a Bring to Light. So game 2 was real close, but I got there. Dredge beat me really fast, and then Tron, he had a game, and he Sundering Tide, or he he Karned for Sundering Titan, but he couldn't play it on the next turn. And I was in this weird window where I could slaughter games as Sundering Titan, but I couldn't slaughter games as Sundering Titan and play a binding on his Karn, and I had to binding his Karn, because if he like Stonebrain Valakut, I was just dead in the water. So that was close, and I'm not sure how it would have played out if he just Karned for Stonebrain because he had 6 mana, put that on the table first. Maybe he would have got me. I don't know. And then game 2, he had the Devour to like try and fix his top draw, but he really just kept a loose keep, and he didn't get above 4 mana, or he didn't get to his 4th mana, and I just played like a ramp spell and then like another ramp spell, and I was like, bolt you through your Chalice with my Consign, and then like untap and hit you for 18 and you're dead. But yeah, this deck was a ton of fun to play. It's a little clunky, but the efficiency of Leyline Binding like gives you recovery power, and yeah, I'm gonna probably try it out again post ban. My toolkit with the cards a little bit, but this was a fun deck. And I think with Tarkir Dragonstorm giving me a land to like counter spells, I might be more inclined to play this deck. I think it's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.